Alright, so this is going to be the biggest filmmaking gear unboxing on YouTube yet, and I'm claiming that because I just couldn't find the bigger one, but feel free to leave a comment down below if you have. Anyway, I won't waste your time, let's start the unboxing and I'll get into the story why the fuck would a 19-year-old kid just sit on probably over 30,000 euros worth of filmmaking gear. Alright, let's start with this one. So I ordered a bunch of Aputure products from the smaller to the biggest lights, and this is the biggest one. So Aputure recently came out with the 600D Pro model, and this is by far the brightest and biggest light from Aputure. Open this baby up. Alright, so as you probably guessed it, all this gear is not for this YouTube channel. I actually started building a film studio around a year ago, and we started construction 2 months ago, and right now we're at the stage where all construction is finished. I just furnished the whole place and I just need to unbox all this gear, fill up the cage, and then we can finally stop burning money and start accepting productions. By the way, if you're interested in the whole story on why and how I was able to build a film studio, a full behind the scenes video is dropping next week, where I basically talk about everything that went into this project, and I just documented everything. So if you're interested, make sure to subscribe, click that bell notification, and yeah, that video is dropping next week. But yeah, let's get back to the 600D Pro. So I can already see is that the ballast is just huge. It's probably 2 times as big as the 300X and the 300D's ballast, but also the power is 2 times, so I guess it's alright. So here's the ballast. So what I most like about this light is first the output, because it has a crazy output compared to its size. I think it's a bit bigger than the 300X and the 300D, but compared to HMIs, I think it's actually smaller than an ARRI M8, and it has the output or even more than the ARRI M18, which is a lot bigger light, and yeah, that is just crazy, and it consumes less power and everything. So yeah, I will definitely test this one out. Alright, I really wanna stick with Aputure for now, so let's unbox this Aputure MC4 Light Travel Kit. So here's the Pelican case, and there's something in this as well. So these are the lights. These are actually magnetic, and this case charges them, which is pretty cool. I think you have to just plug in this case to the wall, and that's it. Oh yeah, just some more cables and smaller accessories. So yeah, that's it for the Aputure MC kit. Let's go with Aputure again, because we really like Aputure. So when Aputure first came out and all the YouTubers started using Aputure lights, they all bought the 120D, but I never actually used one. I always used the bigger ones, the 300X and the 300D. I'm actually lighting this video with the 300X. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to finally hold. Wow, it's really small. I mean, it's probably half the size of my 300X, and the crazy thing about this is that the output is not half. I think the output of this is around 70% of the 300X. This light packs quite a bit of power. I think these reflectors are the same on all Aputure lights. So from the 120D to the 600D Pro, I think these reflectors are all the same. So this is probably the biggest light from Aputure, at least size-wise and weight-wise, but it's also an amazing light, and probably this one is my favorite. If I had to choose just one Aputure light, I think this would be it. And also this one comes in a pretty cool Pelican case. So this is the Aputure Nova P300C. So for those of you who don't know, this is basically a sky panel, but just a lot cooler if you ask me. So the idea with the studio was to not go the regular way. We won't be using industry standard lights, HMI, tungsten lamps. The whole studio will be run by LED lights, because basically LED lights are the future of filmmaking, that's a fact. So right now these lights have some shortcomings compared to more expensive HMI lamps like the ARRI M series or the ARRI Sky panels. Those are LED lights, but much more expensive LED lights. So yeah, right now they have some shortcomings, but these shortcomings will really thin out and completely disappear in the next 5 to 10 years. And yeah, the whole filmmaking industry will run these LED lights, not particularly from Aputure, but it will be run on LED lights. And also LED lights have a bunch of advantages to low and mid-budget productions. They are a lot quicker to use, setup time is less, heat is less, size is less, weight is less, they use less electricity, and the light quality that is coming out of these is pretty amazing. They have a bunch of built-in effects, and you can also control all of these lights with your phone. So all of the Aputure products have one app which you can use to connect and control all of them. You can set up different scenes and everything, and yeah, it's just a lot quicker to use. So I can basically run a 10 lighting setup by myself. I just have to set up the lights and then I can control all of them by myself. So right now I have the Aputure B7C Kit here, and these are basically LED light bulbs. So these have a regular socket, which means you can screw them in basically anywhere. But these also have a battery in them, so you can actually use them with fake lamps and everything that is not connected to the wire. And again, you can control them with an app. There's all these built-in effects. These light bulbs are also fully RGB. So yeah, pretty amazing product. So I really don't know what's in this, but we will find out in just a sec. Oh wow, so again, these are Aputure products. I wanted to open something else, but yeah, we have a bunch of Aputure products here. So these are actually the 2X Fresnel attachments. So I showed you guys before the kit reflector that comes with the 120D and with the 600D Pro. Now you can actually take that off and change it out to a better one, which in this case is this 2X Fresnel. So what it does, it basically has two lenses in it. You can actually focus it more, so you can set it to spot or flood, and it works just as like an airy HMI light. You can also put barn doors on them, but the coolest thing about these is that they can actually boost the output of the lights. Now this one's called the 2X Fresnel. I don't know if it boosts the output by 2X, but I've seen some videos and it really does a significant boost. So I'm really excited to try these out. I never actually owned or used them. I believe these are light stands. I ordered a bunch of light stands because you obviously need them for the lights. Ow. Yeah, I just cut myself. Anyway, so yeah, this is just a regular light stand from Manfrotto. So yeah, these are a bit more heavy duty than the C stands. They can actually accept junior pins, which means you can put tungsten or airy M8s, M18s, M40s and those kind of stuff on these. As you can see, they also have baby pins, which means they can also accept our Aputure lights. So these light stands will be really handy for our lights and people who come here with their own lights with their tungsten or HMI lamps. So for the film studio, a lot of money went into construction and building out this whole place and actually renting it, but we still wanted to do a rental section. So for now, we're only gonna rent out lighting equipment, grip and rigging stuff, and there's a fourth category which will be effect machines, and yeah, I'm gonna explore that right now if I can find those boxes. So for the effect machines, I think I ordered a total of 5 and one of them is still on the way. This one's here. And this is a freaking snow machine. Now it doesn't push out actual snow. Basically it has a fluid tank which you can fill up just like with a smoke machine or anything else. And I don't know exactly how it works, but it basically turns that fluid into snow, which is not cold, so it's more like a foam or something. A bunch of people use it for music videos. You can use it for product videos or basically anything. And yeah, I always wanted to own a freaking snow machine, and now I do. Alright, so it turns out I was sitting on this smoke machine the whole time. So let's quickly open up this one. So it's pretty much the same setup, the standard power cable, controller, and this one has a wireless controller as well, which is pretty cool. So I thought this one's gonna be a bit bigger. Yeah, I couldn't say. I'm disappointed because it still has a lot better output than mine. I actually thought these ones gonna be a bit bigger, but I really don't mind the size. So yeah, these are basically fire machines. There's a little door. You can open up them, and it's a really simple thing. There's some electronics in here. Basically how it works is that you put in one of these cans that I think contains fire itself. You just put it in, and whenever you power it up, it's gonna shoot up a giant flame that I think it's around 4 to 5 meters. So yeah, it's pretty dangerous, and one can last around like 3 minutes of continuous flame. And yeah, I just can't wait. I have to try this one out now. I just have to put this here. Can is seated properly. I need to close this door. So when it gets power, it will immediately go off and only stop when I pull it out. 3, 2, 1, go! Let's go again, let's go again. And 3, 2, 1, let's go! Wow! It's freaking amazing. And also really, really dangerous, so don't try this one out at home. So besides the Aputure lights, I also ordered some LED tubes and from other brands. The other brand that I really like is Nanlite, and I'm currently using their lights back there. So these will be the Nanlite Pavotube 15Cs, the shorter ones. I actually never owned these, I only own the bigger 30Cs, but these are pretty cool as well. So these are fully RGB LED tubes. You can control them wirelessly, but only with a wireless transmitter and a separate app, which costs around like $300 I think. But it's fine if you control them via these knobs here. And yeah, they have a CCT mode, they have an HSI mode where you can choose from a bunch of colors. You can change the saturation, and you can just go through the full RGB spectrum. There's also like this RGB cycle mode. There's also some effects like cop car, and yeah, there's some built-in effects. Not as good as the Aputure effects, but still pretty usable. So these are the Nanlite Pavotube 26Cs. And I guess you can best compare them to the Aputure MCs. In my opinion, the Aputure MCs are better, but these are also really, really good lights, and that's why I ordered them. They are also magnetic. And yeah, there are some situations where you would prefer a tube light instead of going with the more square ones from Aputure. And I believe there are 2 more Nanlite tubes here. Yeah, 30Cs, and yeah, I also ordered 2 of them. I already own 2, but I wanted to buy 2 more for the studio. So they're pretty amazing lights. I don't think I have to introduce them. So just to stick with LED lights, my next box will be the one that I'm probably the most excited for, and that is the Astera Titan Tube set. So for those of you who don't know, Astera Titan tubes are basically the industry standard for LED tubes, and basically Nanlite and all the other brands are just a bit cheaper copy of them. But yeah, this is the real deal. Alright, I don't know if I can turn it on. Oh yes, oh yes, 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 yes. The coolest thing about these is that there's an app, and I will unbox it. There's a transmitter around here. So you can control and program all the 8 lights with just one app, and you can actually program them, so it's not just built-in effects like with Nanlite. You can actually write programs to it, and there's a bunch more freedom with these. I used them a couple of times on different shoots, but I will definitely play around with these more, so I can learn how to program them a lot better. So here's how this Pelican case looks like. It also charges all the tubes, just like with Aputure MCs and the light bulbs, and all the accessories are here. There are these standard clips which you can use to mount them to tripods, and I actually ordered some magnets that you can just screw in here, and that way you can basically mount it anywhere. You can stick it to metal bars, to shipping containers. Yeah, it's a really cool way to mount these lights. They also have an actual stand. The Nanlites unfortunately don't have, so a pretty big advantage to these is you can actually set them on the ground and they will stand by themselves. So yeah, let's move on with the other boxes. We have one more Aputure light that we haven't unboxed yet, and that is the Aputure 300X. Sees Aputure's only bicolor light, and I think that that bicolor feature makes it one of the best lights from Aputure. The bicolor range goes from, I think, 2700 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin. It's not as bright as the 300D and the 300D Mark II, but it's not far behind. I think it's around 80% of the 300D, so it's pretty close. So yeah, here's the size of the actual light. It's kind of same size as the 600D. The 600D is a lot fatter, this one's a lot slimmer, but yeah, pretty much the same, just with less output and with that bicolor feature. So I think now we unboxed all the Aputure lights, at least the variants, because I actually ordered 2 of each. So I'm gonna quickly move those boxes away so you can see what's actually left behind. So I have a random box here, and I really don't know what's in it. So these are the fluids for the effect machines. This is for the snow machine. This is for the bubble machine, which is actually in here. And this is for the fog machine. This is the bubble machine itself. I actually never used one before. I only saw them in video clips and stuff, and I thought it would be a fun thing to try it out. So yeah, that's the whole thing, I guess. So yeah, I will try it out, and I'm really hoping that we can use this for video clips and rent it out for a bunch of smaller projects. And we also have a bunch of sandboxes. I actually ordered, I think, a total of 16 sandboxes. So sandboxes can basically save lives. I had some really risky situations where we had light stands fall and they almost hit actors and stuff. So from that point on, I'm always using sandbags. I think they are really cool, and they really lower the chances of light stands just tripping over and falling on someone. These things can actually save lives, and I highly recommend them. But unfortunately, these things don't chip with sand. So yeah, I still need to fill them up with some regular sand. I think these are the bigger light domes. I ordered the light domes and the light dome mini as well. I really don't think I need to introduce them. These are basically Aputure's best softboxes, and I'm currently using one right now for this video as well. These are the light dome minis. They are basically just like the bigger light domes, just in a smaller construction. But these are really cool if you're really in tight spaces and you just can't fit the big softboxes. So I think we are finally finished with all the Aputure boxes. All these boxes that are around here are light stands and C stands and boom stands and those kind of stuff. So yeah, let's continue and finish off this video with these. So this really big light stand here is actually a boom stand, just like my microphone stand here. But this one is a lot more heavy duty and can actually support a lot more weight. You can actually boom the Aputure 600D, Nova panels, and basically any light with this, at least considering all the lights that we have here. So yeah, here's the boom stand in all its glory. I really hate using it, but I love the results that I can get with this thing. So yeah, it's definitely a love-hate relationship. So I ended up going with these simple black C stands from Avenger. The cool thing about these is that this is a C stand kit, which means it comes with 2 gobo heads and an arm as well, which comes in really handy when you want to mount flags or smaller lights or anything. So yeah, these C stands are pretty sturdy, even the arms, and can hold a lot of weight when you combine them with some sandbags. Alright. I think that was all. We finally finished. I spent the past 3.5 hours just unboxing gear. Currently it's 3:05 in the AM. So yeah, now I have to load up the vault and come back tomorrow to shoot all the promotional photos and videos, so we can finally launch the studio and stop burning money. This project is by far the biggest risk that I ever taken. I'm super nervous right now. My mind is just going all over the place. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this goes wrong? So yeah, it's a bit overwhelming, but I'd still choose this, taking these massive risks and growing fast and just using my full potential instead of just idling in a 9-to-5 job and never living life to the fullest. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Make sure to rate this video with a like or dislike if you hated every single minute of it, or if you have a more complex opinion, make sure to drop a comment down below. I try my best to answer every single one of them. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you guys in the next one.